Hello everyone, welcome back to a brand new Football Manager series. We did just end our Newcastle United series after 10 years at the club, so if you are new to the channel, checking videos out for the first time and you want a complete series to see, go and see the Newcastle series. There's links in the description to that. But quite a few people were asking what the new series would be. Here it is, you can see on the screen, it's Valencia in the Liga BBVA. Now, as you might have seen on the thumbnail, this is called a European Journeyman save. And right now, I've not really set out what the rules are around this save. The only thing I care about is I want to try a few different European leagues and try to win as many titles and competitions and Champions Leagues as possible. So in the league database, if we can check that out, you will see that actually we've loaded up quite a few leagues, but not the English league, which could be crucial because it means that we won't be able to get necessarily all of the players there. It's not even on a currently viewed league, but we've got France, Germany, Holland, Italy, Portugal and Spain. And the idea behind that is I don't want to be reliant on English league and players from the English league. I want to sort of have a truly European experience, drift between these different countries and win as many possible European titles as we can. I'm also going to try not to take over the biggest clubs in the world. I quite like the idea of taking over fallen giants. So in Italy that might be Inter Milan. In Holland we might take over Ajax and see if we can turn them into a European champion. Again, it's those sort of challenges, something that's difficult but not too difficult, because I don't want to spend 10 years rebuilding every club. I want to be there for 3-4 years, win a couple of titles, maybe some European competition, and then move to the next club. So we're not going to stick around. If a club isn't developing after 2 or 3 seasons, we might just leave, go somewhere else. I haven't decided if I'm going to allow myself to just take over other positions, which is why the editor is still in play, as you might see up on the top right, or if I should just do things naturally, wait for jobs to come available. Maybe you guys can let me know in the comments what you think I should do, if you've got other limitations or rules that we should put on the game. But I quite like the idea of having control over which club we go to next, instead of just what happens to be going on in the game elsewhere. But you guys let me know if you want me to do it properly. Resign a position, wait for a new job to come along, just let me know that and I'm happy to do it. But Valencia are going to be quite an interesting challenge. It is continuing the Newcastle save a little bit, because we're recreating Rafa's time at the club when he won the then UEFA Cup and the La Liga a couple of times. But it is a brand new database, brand new save, so we will be starting everything all over again. Now, I've had a little look around the save already. We haven't progressed at all. We're still on the first day of the save. So if you go in the inbox, there is a little history of the club just here, I think. Is the background to the club. 6 La Ligas, I think 2 of them were under Rafa, 1 European Cup Winners' Cup, 3 Europa League titles, 2 UEFA Super Cups, but no Champions League. So that's maybe the big goal that we'll go after, is winning the first Champions League, because they finished runner-up in the Champions League twice, which is a little bit harsh to have never actually won it. But getting into the top sort of 2 or 3 possessions of La Liga is going to be tough. We're going to have to break the dominance of the 2 Madrid clubs and Barcelona. But I think we can do it. The squad is not great. We've also got a crap backroom, so that's really going to need a lot of work. There are some decent players in the squad, but it's going to take time to build it up. There's also not the greatest amount of cash available. We've got £12 million in the transfer budget, so we might just have to make do this season. And in terms of the backroom staff, it's really poor. Our assistant manager is absolutely awful, so he's going to be getting the sack, and hopefully we can get somebody very good in. But overall, the team is just not at all fit. We have the worst in La Liga for scouting. In everything, actually. We're the worst for absolutely everything in La Liga, so we really need to get on the back room from day one and improve it. Now, I have picked the tactics that we're going to be using. As some of you might know, if you watch the Newcastle series, I'm no tactical master, so I don't get my enjoyment from creating new tactics in this game. I love the transfer system. I love trying to win competitions. I like it on a simple level. I don't like to go into detail on tactics, but I do like trying different people's tactics, especially when they recreate real-life managers' tactics. So the 2 that I've loaded up that I think fit the team that we've got. The first one is Jurgen Klopp's gegenpressing style. So this is going to be quite an interesting one. It's a 4-3-3, playing with an advanced playmaker and a winger with 2 box-to-box midfielders, wing-backs on full attack and a false 9. Both of these tactics have a false 9 because we have 2 players who can play as false 9s, which is quite rare in the game. So I'm going to stick with that, but I might turn them into complete forwards because the best strikers always turn out to be complete forwards in my experience. But we'll see how they go. I don't want to change things too much. This one is based on Barcelona's tiki-taka style under Guardiola, which I was always a fan of, so long as there's actual goals at the end, because too many clubs have tried to recreate this and not got the goals. So I love a high-scoring game, and I'll probably stick with a tactic that gets the highest scoring game as my priority. So I think to begin with, we might use the Gegenpress style. But let me know in the comments which one you think, or send me a link if you've got another tactic that you think would be really, really good for the team. We haven't gone through it in great detail because I think quite a lot of clearing out needs to be done on this team if we can actually do that. Otherwise we'll be stuck with the players we've got. There's a lot of players in a lot of positions. Some of them out on loan doesn't help, especially Negredo being out on loan. That's quite annoying. But we do have Munir and Rodrigo who can both play up front. So hopefully the team will be fine. We've also got great youth players like Zakaria Bakali, who's been a good youth prospect for a number of years in the game. Also, Jose Gaia is very good at left back, so that's a good little foundation on which to build. And hopefully we can make Munir's transfer permanent to the club. We've also got Santi Mina, who looks alright. So there's a few players to look out for. We will progress a little bit, try and sort out the back room with the staff. Do a bit of pre-season transfers, bring some new people in. I'm not going to spend time going through every player because some of them might not be here in about 5 minutes of this video. But do let me know if there's other things you want to see more in depth of the club as we go forward. Drop a comment on the video and I'll make sure to have a look at it next time around. In terms of the club's finances, 57 million in the bank's not bad, but that will obviously go down as the season progresses. And in terms of transfers, yeah, 12 million, not going to do a lot. 40 grand in the wage budget, it's going to be very tough, so we're going to have to shift some dead weight if we can. But right now I'm going to jump forward, maybe to the end of pre-season, maybe just a few days forward to sort out the back room, and I'll meet you on the other side. We will play one game this season, which, looking at the schedule, will be our first La Liga match against Deportivo de La Coruña. So we can look forward to that at the end of this episode. But first off, we really need to sort out the mess going on with this club. We are now a good way through pre-season. There's only one friendly left to play, but I just wanted to check back in because it's been a little while and a few things have happened. The first one was we lost our first friendly of the pre-season against Fiorentina. We've since been on a good run of form against some weaker opposition. The game against Hamburger will be the first really big game since that defeat at Fiorentina, but they've all been away games, so I'm not too worried given that we've managed to win the games. Morale should be high and we shouldn't be in too bad a position. Now, in terms of the squad, I've not really let anybody go. In fact, I don't think any of the first team players have actually gone anywhere. But I have made a few changes, bringing in a few players. I'm just going to remove him from the squad screen because he's not with us anymore. And that's that I've made some loan signings. So the first one is Fabian Delph. I'm not expecting to sign him on a permanent deal, but we were lacking a little bit in midfield, and he certainly does a job just as a rotation player, which is what we've brought him in at. We've only really got 5 central midfielders, and given we're going to be playing with 3 for most of the season, that could be an area of concern and something we'll have to look at in the future. But the biggest signing is Memphis Depay. We've managed to bring him in. He will be on the left wing. He's a fantastic player to have got on loan. He's not even costing us that much money. And I'm hoping that we'll be able to buy him either in the summer or towards the end of this year if we've got a bit more cash available. We can't afford to buy him outright at the moment. United don't really want to let him go at the moment. But I think he's a player that we definitely bring in the future. And I remember from the Newcastle save, he was actually one of the world's best players playing for Real Madrid. So I'm hoping that we can get him permanently and get him firing on all cylinders, pushing our way up the table. It is going to be tough this season. I've not had a lot of scope to really change things around. We've not had any bids come in for any of our players except for PSG coming in for our left back, which we rejected because he's a good left back, and they were only offering 10 million, so there's no point in letting him go for that kind of money. We have fixed the back room a little bit. We've got full coaching staff now, which is quite nice. The stats aren't looking too bad. That can obviously improve over time. Still going to bring in a few scouts and medical staff when I get around to it, but we've got nearly the best physios in the league anyway. We've got a very big medical team as it stands, but we'll bring in more scouts and up that sort of review. If we just have a look at the members of staff that we have brought in, our new assistant manager is much better. He's also got the judging player ability and potential, which I think is quite important, because if you've got low ratings for your assistant manager and you use the star system on your squad screen, if your manager's got really bad judging ability, you're going to have bad information on who you should be playing and which players have good potential in the future. So the potential from this assistant manager are going to have to take them with a pinch of salt, because it's only 14. 17 and above is usually a very good rating as far as I'm concerned. All of the coaches are pretty much new. We let just about everybody go at the start of the season. The other big person we brought in is we managed to bring in Riccardo Puccini. He's got 20 for both of his judging stats, which is great. He's also got good adaptability. Determination is really poor, so he won't be independently finding the best players. But if I tell him to assess a player, he should be able to do a very good job on that report. So hopefully we'll be able to bring in some very good players over time. But right now we just don't have the money to do it. There is still a little bit of money in the kitty. I'm not averse to bringing in maybe one more player. But it might be on loan, because I don't want to commit to anybody at the moment, and I can't sign the young players that I would ordinarily sign at the start of a series. But I might look for a teenager or someone who will be good in 2 or 3 seasons' time. But we've still got a bit of time till the end of the month, really, before we have to make a decision on final transfers. For now, let's get through this hamburger friendly, and then we can play our first match of this brand new series against Deportivo de La Coruña. It's time for our first competitive match as manager of Valencia, the start of a brand new series for real, away at Deportivo de La Coruña. There is one more transfer to tell you about before we jump into the game. That is that we've signed Thiago from Atletico Madrid. We got him for just 825k. He's 35 years old, I want to say. We could double check in a minute, but he is a good player, I think, and I think he's a player I've respected for quite a while. So he will do a job in midfield. I said we were a bit light in the central midfield area. Everywhere else we were pretty well covered. He's not going to set the world on fire, but he is a very solid player. He'll do us for 1 year, 2 years. He is 35 years old, and he's got pretty good stats. So he will be a nice rotation option alongside the likes of Perez, Parejo, and a few other players in and around that midfield area. Fabian Delph not even making the bench today. I'm not sure I'm going to use him that much, and I might terminate his loan if we don't need him, but I'm concerned about an injury crisis. Otherwise, I think the squad is actually pretty balanced. It's all about whether we can get the pie firing. Hopefully Munir can chip in with a few goals and we can do well today. I'm going to start with the gegenpressing style. If that doesn't work out in the second half, we can switch to tiki-taka, but I think against Deportivo we should be able to get the win today. And it's going to be an interesting test of how good our team is. We're still a long way off full familiarity with the role. That doesn't get too much better with the tiki-taka because we've had gegenpressing as our main tactic for a while. But let's jump into this game, play our first match of the new series, and get our first win of the new series. Perez with a free kick. First real highlight of the game as Gaia brings the ball down. There's Memphis Depay. Do let me know if I pronounce names wrong, by the way. I'm always happy to correct it in the comments as Memphis looks to come again. He's charging through the middle, goes for goal. He's put it over the bar. Perez, forward to Depay. Holds the ball up and then loses it, and Guillaume is on the attack with Joselu. Ball inside to Andone. He's in on goal. Goes for goal. Good save from Diego Alves. Parejo's corner. Sends it to the far post. It's headed away. Gaia gets the ball. Sends it over to Rodrigo. There's Thiago to Perez. Ball in a good area. It's come for Thiago again. Strikes it, but it's deflected into the arms of the goalkeeper. Andone. Back to Mosquera. Deportivo not really created much so far as Joselu comes forward. Juanfran holds the ball up and then beats a defender. Looks to send the cross in. Cleared out by Mangala. Mosquera back in. Joselu off the post. Montoya away. We get away with that. Montoya's throw. Finds Mario Suarez. There's Memphis Depay in the area. It's a great save from Titon. Rodrigo finds Munir with a header. Memphis. Skips one tackle. Still going Memphis. What a ball out wide that is to Gaia. He pulls it back to Perez. strikes it. He's hit the woodwork. Munir's there for the follow-up. He taps the ball into the back of the net. 65 minutes in, we finally break Deportivo down. Medran out wide to Bacali. Given away. Medran again to Memphis. Ball pitched out left for Gaia, who can whip it in. He does. There's Medran arriving and he makes it 2-0. There's the point secure. It's going to be a victory in our first match of this series. There is the full-time whistle. We've managed to win our first La Liga game as Valencia manager, starting the series off in the best way possible, especially away from home. That's a very solid win. We should be finishing in the Europa League places this season. It looks like the team is going to be good enough to do that, so long as we stay injury-free, because we picked up 2 injuries in that game. We've already got players like Nani out injured, so hopefully the team will hold up well. We've got a nice run of games starting this new series. If we have a look at the games to come, next episode we'll take on Celta Vigo, Las Palmas, Real Betis, Granada and Real Madrid as well. That will be a huge game to look forward to in the next episode, with Deportivo Alaves after that game. At home, that will be a huge test against Real Madrid of how good we are. I'd like to finish in the Champions League in our first season. If we can, the Europa League would be fine too. I don't think we have any European football this season, so it's all about La Liga. Copa del Rey would be nice to win, but I'm not going to stress about that too much. I only really want to focus on La Liga. But if you're looking forward to that Real Madrid match, do remember to subscribe for the new series. I'd love to get all of you guys behind the new series, just like you were with the Newcastle one. So drop a like on the video if you're glad of the choice that we made, which club we were going to. Don't forget to let me know what you think the rules should be around this series, or if you think there shouldn't be any. Just let me know in the comments what you think. Let me know maybe what team you think we should go to next after we've won La Liga with Valencia and maybe some other competitions too. But until next time, see ya.